The United States Army is the land service branch of the United States Armed Forces. It is one of the 8 U.S. uniformed services and is designated as the Army of the United States in the U.S. Constitution. The oldest and most senior branch of the U.S. military in order of precedence, the modern U.S. Army has its roots in the Continental Army, which was formed 14 June 1775 to fight the American Revolutionary War 1775 to 1783 before the United States was established as a country. After the Revolutionary War, the Congress of the Confederation created the United States Army on 3 June 1784 to replace the disbanded Continental Army. The United States Army considers itself to be a continuation of the Continental Army and thus considers its institutional inception to be the origin of that armed force in 1775. Hi friends, I am Rajab and you are watching Alzara 313 YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about United States Army. Please like the video and subscribe the channel for more informative videos. The U.S. Army is a uniformed service of the United States and is part of the Department of the Army, which is one of the 3 military departments of the Department of Defense. The U.S. Army is headed by a civilian senior appointed civil servant, the Secretary of the Army, and by a Chief Military Officer, the Chief of Staff of the Army, who is also a member of the Joint Chief of Staff. It is the largest military branch, and in the fiscal year 2020, the projected annual strength for the regular army was 4,80,893 soldiers. The Army National Guard had 3,36,129 soldiers, and the U.S. Army Reserve had 1,88,703 soldiers. The combined component strength of the U.S. Army was 10,05,725 soldiers. As a branch of the armed forces, the mission of the U.S. Army is to fight and win our nation's war by providing prompt, sustained land dominance across the full range of military operations and the spectrum of conflict in support of combatant commanders. The branch participates in conflict worldwide, is the major ground-based offensive and defensive force of the United States. The United States Army serves as the land-based branch of the U.S. Armed Forces. Section 7062 of the Title 10 U.S. defines the purpose of the Army as preserving the peace and security and providing for the defense of the United States, the Commonwealth and possessions, and any area occupied by the United States. Supporting the national policies, implementing the national objectives, overcoming any nation responsible for aggressive acts that imperil the peace and security for the United States. In 2018, the Army Strategy 2018 articulated an 8-point addendum to the Army Vision for 2028. While the Army mission remains constant, the Army strategy builds upon the Army's brigade modernization by adding focus to corps and division level echelons. Modernization reform for high-intensity conflict and joint multi-domain operations and added to the strategy to be completed by 2028. The Army's 5 core competencies are prompt and sustained land combat, combined arms operations, to include combined armed maneuver and wide area security, armored and mechanized operations, and airborne and air assault operations, special operations, to set and sustain the theater for the joint force, and to integrate national, multinational, and joint power on land. By the 20th century, the U.S. Army had mobilized the U.S. volunteers on 4 occasions during each of the major wars of the 19th century. During World War I, the National Army was organized to fight the conflict, replacing the concept of U.S. volunteers. It was demobilized at the end of World War I and was replaced by the regular army, the organized reserve corps, and the state militias. In the 1920s and 1930s, the career soldiers were known as the regular army, with the enlisted reserve corps and officer reserve corps augmented to fill vacancies when needed. Please like the video and subscribe the channel for more informative videos. Thanks for watching.